Article 406.8 BC of the National Electrical Code prohibits installing receptacle outlets behind fixed panels that would prevent access to the receptacle. This includes situations where a television is mounted on a wall or ceiling, effectively blocking access to the outlet behind it. There are several options to achieve a code-compliant installation for a television above a whirlpool tub. One option is to install a concealed raceway behind the wall. The raceway would run from the location of the television mount to an accessible location. The television's power cord can then be run through this raceway, allowing access to the outlet without requiring the removal of the television. This method ensures that the receptacle remains accessible for inspection and maintenance, complying with code requirements. Another option is to install a pop-up outlet in a countertop or cabinet near the television. This type of outlet can be raised when needed to plug in the television and lowered when not in use to conceal it. This approach provides a convenient and accessible power source while maintaining a clean aesthetic. Installing a wall-mounted outlet with cable management is another viable solution. In this case, the outlet is mounted on the wall below or to the side of the television. Cable management systems can then be used to route the television's power cord behind the television and to the outlet, keeping the cord out of sight while maintaining access to the receptacle. This method typically involves using plastic or metal channels to conceal and organize the cables, ensuring a neat and safe installation. If the television is flush-mounted to the wall, installing a flush-mounted outlet below the television may be possible. This option may require additional carpentry work to ensure the outlet is properly recessed into the wall. A flush-mounted outlet provides a clean and discrete power source that is accessible without removing the television. It is important to carefully plan the placement of the outlet to ensure it meets code requirements and is easily accessible for maintenance. Wireless power is another option to consider. It utilizes a wireless power outlet and receiver to eliminate the need for cords altogether. This technology transfers power wirelessly from the outlet to the receiver, which is connected to the television. While this option offers a clean and modern aesthetic, it requires specialized equipment and may not be suitable for all applications. It is essential to ensure that the wireless power system is certified and meets all applicable safety standards. When planning the installation, it is important to communicate with the interior designer to ensure that the selected option meets their aesthetic requirements while also complying with code regulations. The designer can provide valuable input in the placement of the outlet and the routing of cables, ensuring that the final installation is both functional and visually appealing. Before beginning any electrical work, it is important to obtain the necessary permits and approvals from the local building department. This will help ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations and that it is safe for occupants. Additionally, it is advisable to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the installation is performed correctly and safely. An electrician can provide guidance on the proper wiring techniques, grounding requirements, and other safety considerations. When selecting an outlet, be sure to choose one that is rated for the intended use. The outlet should be rated for the voltage and amperage of the television and should be suitable for use in a bathroom environment. Ground fault circuit interrupter, commonly known as GFCI, protection is required for all receptacles in bathrooms to protect against electrical shock hazards. When running cables behind walls, be sure to use appropriate wiring methods. Non-metallic sheath cable, commonly known as an M cable, is typically used for residential wiring and must be properly secured and protected from damage. If running cables through metal studs or other sharp objects, be sure to use grommets or other protective devices to prevent damage to the cable insulation. When installing a raceway, be sure to select one that is large enough to accommodate the television's power cord and any other cables that may be required. The raceway should also be made of a material that is suitable for use in a bathroom environment, such as PVC or metal. When installing a pop-up outlet, be sure to select one that is rated for wet locations. The outlet should be sealed to prevent water from entering the electrical components. Additionally, the outlet should be installed in a location where it is easily accessible and not likely to be splashed with water. When using cable management systems, be sure to select ones that are designed to conceal and organize cables effectively. The systems should be easy to install and should provide adequate protection for the cables. Additionally, the system should be aesthetically pleasing and blend in with the surrounding decor. When installing a flush-mounted outlet, be sure to cut the hole in the wall accurately and neatly. The outlet box should be securely mounted to the wall studs and should be flush with the finished wall surface. Additionally, the outlet should be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock hazards. When using wireless power, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The transmitter and receiver should be properly aligned and the system should be tested to ensure that it is functioning correctly. Additionally, the system should be installed in a location where it is not likely to be interfered with by other electronic devices. In addition to the code requirements, there are also several practical considerations to keep in mind when installing an outlet for a television above a whirlpool tub. First, consider the viewing angle of the television. The television should be mounted at a height and angle that is comfortable for viewing while sitting in the tub. Second, consider the lighting in the bathroom. The television screen should be visible even in bright light. Third, consider the ventilation in the bathroom. The television should be protected from moisture and humidity. By following these guidelines, a safe and code-compliant installation for a television above a whirlpool tub can be achieved. In review, firstly, assess the specific bathroom configuration to determine the most suitable installation method. Secondly, prioritize safety by adhering strictly to electrical codes and regulations. Thirdly, opt for solutions that ensure easy access to the receptacle for maintenance and safety inspections. Fourthly, ensure proper grounding and GFCI protection to minimize electrical shock risks. Fifthly, utilize appropriate wiring methods and materials suitable for bathroom environments. Sixthly, consider the aesthetic impact and integrate cable management solutions for a clean look. Seventhly, consult with qualified electricians and designers for expert guidance and safe installations. Eighthly, secure necessary permits and inspections to comply with local building codes. Ninthly, choose outlets and components rated for wet locations and the TV voltage and amperage. Tenthly, plan viewing angles and environmental factors like lighting and ventilation. Installing a receptacle behind a television mounted on a wall, effectively making it accessible, is a violation of Article 406.8 BC of the National Electrical Code, focusing on accessible receptacles. This article aims to ensure that electrical connections are readily available for inspection, maintenance, and disconnection if necessary, prioritizing safety and compliance. The principle behind this requirement is to prevent situations where accessing an electrical outlet would require significant disassembly or movement of permanently installed fixtures, which could pose safety risks or hinder essential electrical work. One crucial aspect of this code is its emphasis on accessibility, as it mandates that electrical receptacles should be easily reachable without requiring specialized tools or extensive effort. This ensures that homeowners and electricians can safely manage and maintain electrical connections without unnecessary complications. This is particularly important in residential settings where electrical issues may arise unexpectedly, and prompt access to electrical components is essential for safety. A key element to consider when interpreting Article 406.8 BC is the term fixed panels. These panels refer to any permanently installed covering or barrier that obstructs access to an electrical receptacle. This may include wall-mounted televisions, built-in cabinetry, or other structural elements that cannot be easily moved or removed. The code explicitly prohibits installing receptacles behind these fixed panels to ensure that electrical connections remain accessible at all times. Additionally, Article 406.8 BC applies not only to new installations but also to alterations or renovations of existing electrical systems. Any modification to an electrical system must comply with current code requirements, including the accessibility of receptacles. This means that homeowners and contractors must carefully consider the placement of electrical outlets during remodeling projects to avoid violating the code. Furthermore, the code provides exceptions in certain circumstances, such as when receptacles are installed in readily accessible locations within cabinets or enclosures, provided that the doors or panels can be easily opened or removed without tools. These exceptions are intended to accommodate specific design requirements while still ensuring compliance with safety standards. Understanding the intent and scope of Article 406.8 BC is crucial for electrical contractors, designers, and homeowners to ensure safe and compliant electrical installations. By adhering to the principles of accessibility and avoiding installations behind fixed panels, electrical systems can be designed and maintained to minimize risks and promote electrical safety. The code serves as a fundamental guideline for electrical work, promoting safety and preventing potential hazards associated with inaccessible electrical connections. Compliance with this code is essential to ensure the safety and reliability of electrical systems in residential, commercial, and industrial settings. By carefully considering the placement and accessibility of electrical receptacles, potential risks can be mitigated and the overall safety of the electrical system can be enhanced. To elaborate further, Article 406.8 BC of the National Electrical Code addresses specific scenarios where receptacle outlets are installed in locations that are not easily accessible due to obstructions such as fixed panels. This code provision aims to prevent situations where accessing an electrical outlet would require significant effort, potentially compromising safety and hindering maintenance or repairs. The primary focus of this code is to ensure that electrical connections are readily accessible for inspection, testing, and disconnection if necessary. This accessibility promotes safety by allowing qualified personnel to quickly address any electrical issues or perform routine maintenance without unnecessary obstacles. One of the key applications of Article 406.8 BC involves the installation of receptacle outlets behind wall-mounted televisions or other fixed appliances. In these situations, the television or appliance acts as a fixed panel that obstructs access to the receptacle outlet. The code prohibits this practice to ensure that the receptacle remains accessible for safety and maintenance purposes. The term fixed panel as used in the code refers to any permanent or semi-permanent obstruction that restricts access to an electrical outlet. This can include, but is not limited to, wall-mounted televisions, built-in cabinetry, and decorative panels. The code aims to prevent the installation of receptacle outlets behind these fixed panels to maintain accessibility and prevent potential safety hazards. In addition to wall-mounted televisions, Article 406.8 BC also applies to other scenarios where receptacle outlets are installed in concealed or obstructed locations. This can include installations behind furniture, in closets, or in other areas where access is limited. The code aims to prevent these types of installations to ensure that receptacle outlets are readily accessible for use and maintenance. The rationale behind Article 406.8 BC is to promote electrical safety and prevent potential hazards associated with inaccessible receptacle outlets. Accessible outlets can pose a risk of electrical shock, fire, and other safety issues. By requiring that receptacle outlets be readily accessible, the code helps to minimize these risks and ensure the safety of occupants. Furthermore, Article 406.8 BC supports the principles of maintainability and repairability in electrical systems. Accessible receptacle outlets can be easily inspected, tested, and repaired by qualified personnel. This accessibility helps to ensure the long-term reliability and safety of the electrical system. It is important to note that Article 406.8 BC does not prohibit the installation of receptacle outlets near fixed panels, provided that the outlets remain readily accessible. For example, a receptacle outlet can be installed to the side of a wall-mounted television, as long as it is not obstructed by the television itself. The code allows for flexibility in outlet placement while still ensuring that the receptacle remains accessible. In summary, Article 406.8 BC of the National Electrical Code prohibits the installation of receptacle outlets behind fixed panels that obstruct access to the outlet. This code provision aims to promote electrical safety, maintainability, and repairability in electrical systems. By ensuring that receptacle outlets are readily accessible, the code helps to minimize potential hazards and support the long-term reliability of electrical systems.